Welcome to this quick tip video answering the question, does AutoSimply Barcode operations integrate with bin tracking? My name's Anne from Orchid Systems, and yes, barcode operations does integrate with bin tracking. Barcode operations provides real-time online postings of transactions from handheld computers or tablets in the warehouse. These include purchase orders, purchase returns, order entry shipments and returns, and the various transactions in inventory control, like internal usage, transfers and stock counts, and also stock counts generated by bin tracking. With the barcode module of bin tracking, the associated bins can be scanned or entered on the handheld devices at the same time as the source document is created or updated. And bin tracking can be configured for all the underlying OE, PO, and IC transactions that barcode posts. The configuration that can be done is whether or not the bin transfer document gets auto-created, whether the bins are auto-allocated based on the allocation rules. The bin transfer screen cannot, however, pop up on the handheld. That configuration can only be done when you're running the source transaction from the Sage 300 desktop. So the configuration that can be done for all the source transactions that barcode operations is creating or updating, so that's for all the order entry, IC, and purchase order transactions, you can automatically create the bin transfer document on posting the source document. The pick and put away method for allocating the bins can be either the bins are manually allocated or they can be allocated based on the picking rules or put away rules. But the pop-up of the bin transfer document can only be done around the Sage 300 screens, which are launched from the Sage 300 desktop. We're now going to do a demonstration, and I'm assisted by Terence from AutoSimply, and we'll demonstrate a few of the supported transactions. We're going to have a look at the PO receipt, OE shipment, IC internal usage, a bin tracking transfer, an IC transfer, and a bin tracking stock count. Having a look at the barcode app on a mobile device, first you need to log in, user ID and password, and select the Sage 300 company that you want to do transactions for. We're first going to do a PO receipt. You can either scan or find or enter the purchase order number, and then you are presented a list of the items on the purchase order number, and you can go ahead and start receiving each of those items. Because bin tracking is turned on in this location, you are also prompted to enter a bin for the items. So in this case, we're receiving 8 into bin 501 and 7 into bin 502. And then we'd go ahead and receive in the other items. If the item is lot tracked, as this one is, then not only do you need to enter or scan the bins, but you also need to enter or scan the lot numbers. And the lot numbers can be auto-generated from the handheld too. And for the third item, it is bin tracked as well as serial number tracked. So you need to enter the serial numbers or scan the serial numbers at the same time for each of the quantities that you're keying in. And the serial numbers can be auto-generated using the rules that you set up in IC. Once the items have all been received, you can go ahead and post the PO receipt. Barcode creates the PO receipt, and bin tracking will create the bin transfer associated with the PO receipt, and barcode operations will fill in the relevant bins, serials, and lots into both the PO receipt as well as the associated bin transfer document. And as this document had been configured to autocomplete, it was completed at the time it was created. And now we're going to have a look at an OE shipment. You can either scan or type in or search for the order number that you're going to ship. And once you've selected the relevant order number, you will see the items that are due to be shipped. And then item by item, you would fill in the item number, scan it or key it in, and fill in the quantity and specify the bin that you're withdrawing that item from or picking that item from. And if you're shipping items with serials and lots, you need to specify which serial number and which lot number comes from which bin as well. And you can auto-allocate the bin based on the lot or the lot based on the bin. And for serialized items, you need to select or auto-allocate the serial numbers based on the bin. Once all the items have been picked, you can go ahead and post the document. And AutoSimply Barcode operations will create the shipment and the associated bin transfer document with the correct items and bins allocated. And as this type of document was set to auto-complete, the document will be completed. Documents can also be created on their handheld devices, in this case an IC internal usage document. And we're going to put 3 items on this internal usage document. Item A11030 coming from bins 501 and 502, and then the A1900G where we're going to allocate the lot numbers and the serial numbers for A900B. And once the document is complete, then you can post the document. And Barcode operations creates the IC internal usage document, and the associated bin transfer document is updated with the items, quantities, and relevant bins. And you can also create a bin transfer document from the handheld. So a bin transfer is a movement from one bin to another bin. It has no impact on the IC quantities at all. Once you'd specified the location, you would then specify the item, the from bin, and the to bin. And if the item is serial or lot tracked, you need to specify the lot numbers or serial numbers at the same time. And once you've selected all the items and the associated serials and lots, you can go ahead and post that particular transaction. And with the bin transfer document, Barcode operations creates the bin transfer document and fills in the associated bins for the items. And these bin transfers are not associated with any source document. In a similar way, you can do an IC transfer. You specify the from location and the to location, and then you fill in the items, which bins you're picking the items from the from location, and then you specify the to bins, so which bins and the associated quantities that you're putting the items away to in the to location. And you do this for as many items as you need to do in the IC transfer. And if the items have associated serials or lots, you need to pick it from the from bin and put it away into the to bin. And when the document is complete and you go ahead and post, then Barcode operations creates an IC transfer with an associated bin transfer document when the document is posted on the handheld. And Barcode operations completes the relevant bins on the associated bin transfer document. And the last transaction we're going to show on the handheld is doing a stock count. First, we'll generate a bin tracking worksheet for location 5, and then we'll use the handheld to count for that particular worksheet. So you select bin stock count on the handheld device, and then you are presented with the worksheet items, and you need to select the item and fill in the associated quantities for those items. Items can be counted in multiple bins, and once the count is complete, you can post, which will update the bin worksheet with all the quantities counted. And as with all the other transactions, if the items are serialized or lot tracked, you need to type in the quantities per lot or per serial into the appropriate bins. And then when you post, you can optionally decide to add to an existing count or override the previous account, and the associated bin transfer worksheet will be updated accordingly. Thanks for reviewing this video. For more information on bin tracking, please go to orchid.systems, and for barcode operations, please go to AutoSimply.com.